Good morning. This is the daily Tanya portion for the 7th of Shevat for short year. We are on chapter 21, Perek Chaf Aleph. And in Perek Chaf, chapter 20, we discussed how the same way how for a person a single utterance of a sentence or a word is something that is very small when compared to the number of words that a person could say, and then bigger yet is the number of thoughts that a person have, and bigger yet are the number of energy flows or light flows that could go through all the sefirot that are in the neshama, right? So, and we said that all those tzimtzumim until a single word comes out is, by analogy, how the entire creation is nothing and there's no change in Hashem. In this chapter, we're going to continue and see where that analogy is a little different between a person, an Adam, and Hashem, between a Jew and Hashem. פרק כ"א, והנה מידת הקדוש ברוך הוא שלא כמידת בשר ודם. So the way it works for Hashem, the way speech works for Hashem is a little different than it is for a person, for Adam, for בשר ודם. שהאדם כשמדבר דיבור, הרי הבל הדיבור שבפיו הוא מודגש ונראה דבר בפני עצמו. So when a person speaks, right, the speech is something that's separate from him, right? The speech, it went out, and you can't bring it back, right? So it's separate. Muvdal mishorsho. Separate means that it is, there's the speaker, which is the source of the speech, and then there's the speech. And once the speech is out, that's it. The speaker and the speech are two separate things, right? Shehen eser bchinot hanefesh atzma. So what's the source of the speech? We learned that in the previous chapter. Those are the 10 sefirot, right? The 10 emanations that, and the light of the neshama that goes through them, right? And then that's the source. אבל הקדוש ברוך הוא אין דיבור מבדל ממנו יתברך חס ושלום. But for Hashem, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, speech is not something that's separate from him. So how does that work? And what does it mean to utter the 10 utterances of creation? How does that work, right? It's different than for a person. A person speaks, and then there's the person, the source of the speech, and that comes from the 10 sefirot originally. 10 sefirot are enclosed in machshava and then in speech, right? And then when you speak with your hands, then also there's action, right? Maaseh, right? So that works too. But how does it work for Hashem, right? And the his speech is not separate from the source. The speech is always at the source. So how does it work? There's nothing outside of him, and there's no place that is clear of his presence, of his ever emanate, ever present and ever transcendent presence. Everything he's always there, right? That is why his speech is not like our speech. So it's the same way that the way his thought processes, his thoughts are not the same way as ours. As it is written, as it is written that Hashem's thoughts are not like our thoughts. Okay? And Hashem's energy flows are much are transcendent or higher than the way we do things. Okay, so you can't really call his speech with the same word that we use as speech. רק על דרך משל, כמו שדיבור התחתון שבאדם הוא מגלה שומעים מה שהצפון אינה מחשבתו. Okay, so we're going to give a mashal. The same way that when a person, when an Adam speaks, and that reveals, that speech goes as a relation of what was in the mind, of what was in thought, right? release, מה שהיה צפוי למחשבתו, כך למעלה, באינסוף ברוך הוא, יציאת הברכות ממנו נדבך מעליהם אל הגילוי, לברוא עולמות ולחיותם. נקרא בשם דיבור. So it is up, or no, in the levels that are above us, that are transcendent to us, right? Speech is the utterance that causes a revelation and the creation of the world. So basically, speech for us is something that's separate, but it also is a revelation of what was in our thoughts. Well, it is similar for Hashem in terms of the revelation, not in terms of the separateness. Okay. Okay. So what are the 10 utterances with which the world was created? Right? Those are the revelation, right? Something, you reveal something that was hidden. So Hashem originally had a thought, I would like to create the world and have Jewish people who do my bidding and enjoy doing it and are happy doing it, even though there's a whole bunch of of reasons not to, right? There are klipot and there are lies and there are lots of things that are hidden, right? But they still do that. That was in Machshava. And now the revelation is the creation of the world. And that's with the 10 utterances that we know in Bereshit. Okay. And so is the rest of the Torah and the books of the prophets and the scriptures, right? That the prophets, right? A prophet is basically a vessel for godly revelation. A prophet does not speak their own mind. Hashem puts his light into the prophet, and the prophet speaks. That's another form of revelation, but also inside Hashem. Right? For us, it looks like it comes from another person, but that's not really how it is for him. So the truth is that because everything is inside him, so his speech and his thought are always unified inside him, right? In complete and utter oneness, right? דרך משל, כמו במחשבתו של אדם, בעודן, בכוח חוכמתו ושכלו. So we say, there's a mashal for that. We said that before a person even gets a thought, there are the energy flows that go through the 10 sefirot in his neshama, right? In that place, there are no letters yet. So that's the kind of oneness and unity that is always in Hashem, okay? So before it went into, from the heart to the mind, okay, to mull it over, to think it over, it didn't, remember we said that in the 10 Sefirot, there are no letters yet, right? In the energy flows that are through the 10 Sefirot, there are no letters yet. So why do we even have these energy flows? We have energy flows because of things that give us pleasure. It's that simple. And it's the same for Hashem. What gives Hashem pleasure is to have a world that is filled with lies, filled with darkness, and to have a Jew do what he's told out of the 613 commandments and do it with joy. Right? That's okay. זה בכוח בלב ומיוחדות שם בתכלית הייחוד בשורשן שאין החוכמה ושכל שבמוח וחמדה ותשוקה שבלב. So what motivates us, similar to Hashem, is pleasure, the things that we really, really desire. And really what we're learning here as far as being a Benoni is to desire the things that are aligned with Hashem's desires. Okay, that was the daily Tanya portion for the 7th of Shevat.